Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, my name's Susie and I'm the owner and creator here at Susie on the Farm. Today's an exciting day. It's the new IOD Summer release and I'm so excited to show you guys all of these products. I'm going to do a few projects with some of them and show you everything, and everything is available on my website www.susieonthefarm.com for you guys to purchase. Now let's go ahead and get started with the new release. I am going to start with stamps. There are 3 new stamps available. The first one is called Garden Bouquet. I haven't had a chance to use it yet, but it's got 1 page of gorgeous florals, hydrangeas. There's some black-eyed Susans there. This is the back of the packaging. There's so many things you could do with it. I love it in that blue ink. The second stamp is Ephemeral Type. This stamp is going to be a lot like your Kindest Regards and Le Courier, where you use it as a background image. You can take all the elements apart and use each one, or you can use an entire sheet. So we're going to open it up here and stamp it just to see how it comes out. I especially love that cursive script. It does remind me a lot of Kindest Regards. So when you first open a new stamp pack, you do want to season the back of your stamps. And the way you do that is I'm using a 220 grit sandpaper, and I'm just lightly scuffing the back of the stamps, getting them ready for ink. So I'm going to just leave everything on this backing, and I'm going to ink it up with some black IOD permanent ink. All these ink pads and ink colors are also available on my website if you're needing some. This is just like a watercolor book that I've had, and I am going to stamp it the whole page onto here. As you can see, I'm just holding it in place and using my fingers to go over all the stamps to make sure to get a good impression. And voila, look how beautiful that will be for your backgrounds or your images. I'm going to do another one just so I can see that top part. I did re-ink the stamp, and I'm just holding it in place again. And I love this stamp. I can already tell this one is going to get tons of use. The third stamp is Charlotte, and she is a beauty. Another 1-page stamp. We've got a bird, a butterfly, and look at the beautiful Charlotte, and look what they did with the mask and all, and the teacup. I definitely want to try the teacup, so let's open this up and get stamping. I have to season this one also, and then I'm just going to do a quick stamp with Charlotte and the teacup, and we will revisit all these stamps here in just a little bit. Y'all, I am obsessed with all this detail. Can you imagine maybe painting that in with some watercolor, letting it dry, and then going back over the top? Definitely going to do that with Charlotte. And I also needed to see this little teacup. We're going to do just a quick little project with it. It's a great way to display your stamps and a great way to sell frames. So I'm stamping this teacup on. I'm going to show you all the detail, and then we're going to get started on a framed project. This is just a little ornate 5x7 frame that I had in my stash. I'm going to paint it. I struggled with what color, but essentially I decided to go with what was handy and what I know I love. And this is Oakum. If you've been watching my channel recently, you know I'm a little bit obsessed with this color. I still have not done a large piece of furniture with it because I just haven't had time, but I'm definitely going to do that in the very near future. So I'm getting this coated with 2 coats of oakum. I'm going to let it dry, and I felt like all the little details were just kind of lost in the solid color. So just to highlight those just a little bit, I'm going to use some black wax. It's very subtle over this oakum, but it does stay down in all the little crevices once I wipe back, and just brings them out just enough to give it a little more interest. Once the wax is dry, we're simply going to put the frame back together, and now we have a beautiful display of our gorgeous stamp from the Charlotte pack, and a great way to display this frame to sell. So that's your stamp collection for this new release. Let me know which one you think is your favorite. I'm going to go with Charlotte. And now we are moving on to transfers. We have 4 transfers, and the first one is called Rose Botanical. This is a large 8-page transfer full of mix and match roses and florals. I love these because you don't have to do them together. You can put them exactly how you want them. You can use them on smalls. You can use them on furniture. And I think that this is one of my favorite florals. We also have another fairy tale florals. This is one of the 8x12. It has 8 sheets of these whimsical florals. They almost look like embroidered fabric, if that makes sense. There's borders. They're all color coordinating, and I'm going to show you each page so you can get an idea of what is included, and then we're going to do just a simple little easy project with the fairy tale florals. I love that blue. For this project, I have been hanging on to this stainless steel set. It's got a sugar, a couple of creamers, I guess, and a butter dish. I think I bought all these separately, or maybe a couple of them at a time, and I really hate when thrift stores put this kind of tape on metal. It makes it so hard to get all that adhesive off. I used some rubbing alcohol, rubbed it really good, and then I scraped off a lot of the adhesive, and then I took them all to the sink and gave them a good cleaning with Dawn dish soap, and I think I finally got them all cleaned off. And I'm just going to I've cut out a few of these transfers, and I'm just going to put a few on each of them. I'm not doing all the same colors because, like I said, this set all matches really well. It's very whimsical and fun. So I'm going to put a couple on each of the items, and then I'm going to seal it up with a clear sealer. I want to stress on shiny surfaces like this. Do not use a matte sealer because it will cloud up your project. Be sure you use like a glossy sealer. I'm just doing the outsides of these so the insides are still food safe, and these can still be used up. But I think they turned out so cute, and if you've never used a transfer before, they're very easy. All of them come with this little tool where you can rub them on. You just peel off the plastic backing, lay it on your surface, rub it down, and then once you have it transferred onto your project, you'll want to take that backing and just burnish it in, or your fingertips, just to make sure that all the edges are stuck down and adhered really well to your project, and you always want to seal your transfers. So the next two transfers are actually a new product. They are transfer, but they are a gilded foil transfer. There's two of them. The first one is called Curated Signage, and it has 4 of these gorgeous gold signs. These are gilded, and they're a little bit different. I'm going to use one here in just a minute, but they work the same way as transfers, and I love all 4 of these gorgeous images. As you can see here, they have done them over dark colors, so that's what we're going to do today. But first, let's get a closer look at these beautiful images. The next full transfer is called Etiquettes, and it has all of these labels with all of this beautiful ephemera on it. This can be used on smalls or larges. On the back of the package, they have used it under the dark colors as well. And I have this really big tray that I want to use this one on. But first, let's take a look at each of the pages. So I thrifted this tray. It's really basic but really big. I did 2 coats of cast iron on it, and now we're going to apply a transfer from the Etiquettes. I just centered it in the center, and this, like I said, this works just like your other transfers. They come with the tool, and you just rub until it is transferred onto your project. I did notice that on the other transfers, you can kind of feel and see the color change when your transfer releases. On this one, you cannot. So don't rub too much. Just rub a little, peel back. Rub a little, peel back until it is all released from your project. And this is a foil transfer, so it will have a little bit of texture, and it will kind of flake off at least until you seal it. So once you have your transfer all adhered, the back of the package even actually says to save this top sheet. You can use it like a negative image. I'm also wondering if you could use it as a stencil, but we will revisit that in some future videos. But don't throw away your carrier sheets when you finish with them. So now this tray is complete. I sealed it with some wax. I'm thinking about going back over those top edges with some gold. So let me know in the comments below which is your favorite of the 4 transfers, and let me know which one you think is going to be a bestseller as well. Moving on to paint inlays. We have 2 paint inlays that are the same. They are just different colors, and they are based on the Delft pottery. Delft Traditions Noor is black, and it has 8 gorgeous sheets of all these different images that you can mix and match. And my favorite of the two is the Azure, which is blue, and blue is all the rage right now, and we're always looking for the blue pottery. Now we can make our own. And I love how they have done these. To start with, I'm going to show you each of the pages. My favorite page is the page with the little emblems. This one here that has all the animals and everything. There's just so many uses for this. We also have some pages with borders, some solid sheets, some florals, but all of it is so gorgeous. And if you have never used a paint inlay before, they can be a little bit scary. It is paint that actually goes into, it is an image that is actually transferred into your paint. You can use it on a top coat or you can use it in paint. I have these two little wall pockets. One of them is brass and the other one has been spray painted. I cleaned them up as best as I could and I gave them 2 coats of casement. I did 2 coats to get good coverage, but we're going to do another coat here to put the images on. I have cut out the pieces that I want to use, and you do a generous helping of smooth paint. Then you wet the paint side of your inlay and rub it into your wet paint. Be careful not to smear it. And I'm going to do the same thing here. I'm going to put a good coat of paint on. Then I am going to mist my paint inlay. I'm going to lay it down with the grid side up into the wet paint and push it down with my finger to make sure that there is good contact. On that textured part of it, I wasn't sure how it was going to turn out. It did not do perfect, but I'll show you guys here in a minute how we are going to fix that. Everything else turned out great. And one of the parts of the paint inlay that many people do love is the weathered look of it. Sometimes it does come out perfect, but a lot of times it's very distressed and people really love that look. So I got both of these all ready to go, and once your inlay is dried, you can see it turns like a cloudy color. So I just mist it again and I dab off all of the excess and then pull back the carrier sheet. And these can be used numerous times. And see how good the image transferred, except for this here. I don't know how I did it. I thought I had it in all those little cracks good, but it didn't transfer like I wanted. It looks good and distressed, but with the top part of this being so well and looking so bright and vibrant, I didn't feel like it fit. But there's an easy fix. Once it is dried, I just went back over those distressed images with paint again and decided to leave them off. But like I said, you can leave them and you can just, embrace the distressing. But I like the way that these were without it, and I love this paint inlay. What do you guys think about this project and the paint inlays? We have made it to our last category, and molds are one of my favorite things to use. We've got 4 molds, and the first one is bows. I didn't get to use this one, but bows are really making a comeback. I am loving all the projects I'm seeing with this bows mold. Also, we have oak leaves and acorns. This one's going to be a great one for fall. Look at all the details in those leaves. I can't wait to revisit them in a near future video. The last 2 molds are a little different than anything we've seen before. The first one is Felicity. And the difference in these molds is they're smaller in size, but they are much thicker. I don't know if you can see how deep those flowers are, but look at all that detail. This would be perfect for baking in. I can just imagine cookies like that. Persephone is also a beautiful one. And this one, I didn't think I was going to like it at first, but I'm going to use it. And by the time I finished with it, I am absolutely in love with Persephone, and she is absolute perfection. So see how deep these molds are? They're going to take a little more clay, resin, whatever medium you're using. I'm going to use resin today, and I'm going to go ahead and use my 24-hour resin because it's a lot more cost efficient. So I'm going to mix up a big thing, and we are going to get this mold going. Resin is a great medium to use in your molds. It's very simple. They come in 2 parts. You mix half and half, part A and B. You mix it really well. I like to set a timer and mix for at least a solid minute. And then you just slowly pour it into your mold. You also might want to tap your mold against something if you can. I don't know how to explain that, and I don't think I showed it, but I just pick it up just a little bit and tap it to get out any air bubbles. With all the extra that I had left, I poured it into a few of the roses in the Felicity mold because these pair very well together. I've been seeing lots of projects that stockists have been doing, pairing these together. So this is the next day, and look how gorgeous she has turned out. And these flowers, you can put them in her hair. You can make them like her dress. There's just no limit to the possibilities that you can do with these molds. You could also use clay to do this with, and that way you can move them around. I took these out a little bit earlier than the 24 hours, so they're a little pliable still, but I'm just giving you some ideas here that you can do with it. For this initial project, I decided just to use Persephone, and I am going to paint her with 2 coats of Brook. This is a Fusion all-in-one paint. It has amazing coverage, especially on this clear resin. And I also had this thrifted frame with these little details that I thought really kind of matched the mold. So I did 2 coats, I let it dry, and then to finish this off, I am going to use some of the Fusion Aging Wax over the frame and the mold. You just rub it on. I'm using an inexpensive chip brush to rub it on, and then I will take a dry paper towel to wipe it back, and then all of that wax stays in the details on the frame and on the mold and just makes everything look so complete, not just like it's something that's been painted and that's all there is to it. And I just love the completed look of this mold. To finish it off, I took the stamped page that we did with the ephemeral type in the beginning of the video, and I placed it in a frame, and I glued Persephone onto it, and this project is complete. I can imagine doing this exact same thing in many different colors and selling every one of them, no problem. So are y'all ready to get creative with all these new products? Head on over to SusieOnTheFarm.com. Place your order. If you get it in tonight or today. I will get it shipped out by Monday. If I run out, I've already got another order placed, so come back and check. Thank y'all so much for watching.